All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not Alma is worth it in 2024. I guess we're getting close to 2025, so is it worth it for 2025? Today I'm going to go through everything you need to know about Alma and whether or not you should use it in private practice. I'm someone who's been using Alma. I know mostly, well, not everything, but I know enough about it where I think I could help you out. And so I'm going to give you a raw behind the scenes look into what Alma is and whether or not I think it's worth it in private practice. It's also important to know that I don't work for Alma. Alma doesn't pay me for anything. They didn't make me make this video. I'm making it simply to help out you, someone interested in using it, so that you can make a good choice for yourself. And this is going to be one of those raw videos where I'm not editing this. I'm just going to go through my notes here with you, and we'll learn a lot along the way. All right, so if it's not perfect, I apologize, but let's just dive right into it. Now, you might already know this, but what exactly is Alma? For those of you who don't know, let me just give you a quick rundown. Alma has become what I would consider a practice management solution. They no longer just do one thing, but they do a bunch. And we're going to go through those specifically in just a few moments. We'll go through that in a second. But the other thing to know about is that Alma costs, at least when I signed up, it cost around $125 per month, or you can pay some yearly fee. Now, I can't recall, I usually do the yearly option, so I can't recall exactly what the monthly cost is. I still think it is around this. It may be a little bit more. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, but I know it's not much more than this. Okay, and then so what exactly does Alma do? Currently, as it stands today, Alma does credentialing. This is kind of how they started. So they will credential you with a bunch of different insurance providers, right? And that list continues to grow. And historically, credentialing has been very challenging, especially if you do it on your own. A lot of headaches, paperwork, going back and forth. They make it really, really easy. You simply fill out a couple of forms for them, an application on their end, and you work with them, and then they do all the hard, heavy lifting, and you end up getting credentialed, and so now you can take insurance very, very easily. So this is one of their main draws for people. They're also a billing platform. Now, they make billing very, very easy, right? So you're obviously taking insurance. Well, first off, you don't have to take insurance if you join Alma. Now, most people who join Alma want to take insurance, all right? So if you do choose to take insurance through Alma, you can also use their billing feature, which makes submitting claims extremely easy. It is a couple clicks. Now, I want to make sure you know this, that when you are doing billing with insurance through Alma, you're only doing it for the insurance providers you are credentialed for through them, all right? Let me say that a different way. Let's say you're credentialed outside of Alma. You've gotten credentialed on your own. Let's just say, for example, I'm going to make this up, with Blue Cross Blue Shield, but you're not credentialed through Alma with Blue Cross Blue Shield. You can't bill those Blue Cross Blue Shield people through Alma. You can only use Alma's billing for the insurances you take through Alma. All right, and the list of insurances you can take through Alma will be on their website. You can just Google that and it will pop up. You can also do cash pay billing, which is obviously very simple. You just send invoices, you can collect payments and things like that. So you are able to use Alma for those purposes, which is really helpful. Alma has been building a fairly robust EHR. I know you're able to take notes inside of there. They have a template feature. They are actually going to be implementing AI tools for the note taking as well. I have not tried that out. I don't personally use Alma's EHR. That's because it's not exactly where it should be. I know one of the limitations I heard about is you're not able to upload your own practice documents into Alma. So those things like that where it's not quite perfect, I'm not ready to switch yet. But for those of you who are starting a solo practice, you want to start kind of having one all-in-one platform, Alma can do most things you need an EHR to do. It also has a video platform built in, so you can do all your virtual sessions directly on their platform. And if you want to know more about Alma's EHR, I made another video reacting to their video about their EHR. You can find that on my channel. But I will say that over the last year or so, Alma has really been building out this EHR. I'm sure there are more changes to come. And so it's a fairly decent EHR at this point. The other thing is it's a community. So you can also be a part of the Alma community, which is like all the different therapists that they have on their platform. It's in the thousands. And this is a place where you can post questions, you can receive support and feedback. It's a fairly vibrant community of therapists. I would say it's not the same, but it's similar to like a big Facebook community, right, that you might be a part of as a therapist. There's like referral requests on there, all sorts of things. So that's a pretty cool feature as well. And then finally, Alma is also a directory, kind of like Psychology Today. Now, I see a lot of people complaining about Alma's directory. They don't get as many referrals as they thought they would, or it's kind of dying out. And the truth is that Alma has expanded rapidly. There are so many providers in so many different states on Alma at this point. I'm thinking that the platform is fairly saturated, or the directory is. So when a client logs into Alma or signs up to Alma to get a therapist, there's a lot more to choose from, making it harder for therapists to be found. So I'm not surprised that you're not getting as many referrals from Alma. That being said, your listing on the directory is included in this monthly cost. Actually, all of this is included in the monthly cost, with the exception of the AI notes. They haven't came out yet, but one of the things they wrote on the bottom was that after a certain amount of AI notes, you'll have to pay for it. But for the most part, almost all of this is included in the monthly subscription cost. That being said, that cost is fairly decent for all of these tools and features. Is it perfect? It's not perfect, but you do get a pretty big bang for your buck when you sign up for Alma. Now, let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons. I'm not hiding anything here. You can see it all at one shot. These are just my notes. Let's talk a little bit about the pros of Alma. So for one, it makes solo private practice pretty easy. If you want to take insurance, you can do it. You want to get credentialed, it just makes it so much easier. And it pretty much has everything you need. So if you wanted to get started as a solo provider, Alma makes that super simple. Similarly, it's a one-stop shop, right? So again, if you're just starting out, you don't want to get a subscription for an EHR, you don't want to be all over all the directories and sign up for all that. If you want just one place to kind of get your feet wet in private practice, Alma will allow you to do that. Everything we talked about above, you can do. The other thing is, if you do take insurance, the reimbursement rates are going to be higher with Alma than if you get a contract on your own. There are lots of reasons for this, but I think for this video, it's important to know that you will get higher rates with Alma than if you go on your own. And as far as all of that is concerned, we can argue that Alma's monthly cost is certainly cost efficient. It would probably take you one client and you see them 2 times, or 2 different clients over the course of a month. I mean to see a client, 2 different clients, or 1 client 2 times over the course of a whole month, and that subscription would probably end up paying for itself. So in that regard, Alma is cost efficient. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the cons. And again, I'm not going into the nitty-gritties of all these different things. I hope that this is enough of an overview to help you make your choice. And let's go through some of the cons here. So now Alma's not going to work for a group practice. So if you ever want to expand at some point, you want to hire employees, you want to build a group practice, Alma's not going to grow well with you. You're not able to have employees on here. You're not able to be like a group practice owner and then have profiles for your providers underneath. It's right now just for solo providers. I'm not sure if they're going to change that in the future. I certainly hope so. So you can't really grow into it. Similarly, related to that is people who are not fully licensed. So LMSWs, MHCLPs, people who require supervision usually can't use Alma at all. You have to be fully licensed, independently licensed, able to provide services without supervision. So it's limiting in that regard as well. It is a startup company. It's been around for a little while now, but like any other startup, the future is uncertain. We don't know how long it's going to last. It's a startup company, right? So we don't know the stability. Will Alma be here in 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. So in that regard, it's a little bit unstable there, right? But again, that's going to be the same with any startup company. One con I would say is that the EHR I think is fairly decent at this point. Again, I don't use it, but it's getting close enough where it has almost everything you need, but it still doesn't have everything, right? I think it's a bit limiting. If I were you and you wanted to think about how to pick an EHR, I'll have a whole video on that. You can watch it. I'll leave a link down below. But think about what you need as a provider, okay? Like, don't think about an EHR yet, but just think about what do you need to run your practice. Start with like legally. Well, you need to be able to take notes, right? You need to be able to send intake documents. And once you start thinking about that, think about which EHR can meet almost all of your needs, right? And so that's kind of how I went about picking an EHR. And so I would encourage you, if you're looking for an EHR, don't look to the EHR and see which one is just like the best all around. Think about what you need and then which EHR meets your needs the best and meets most of your needs, okay? And then again, I mentioned this before, but Alma is growing rapidly. There are tons of therapists. Every time I log into the community, there's like another bunch on there. Not a bad thing. I think it's great that they are, expanding people's ability to go into private practice. At the same time, I think with that expansion, there's an oversaturation or just a saturation of therapists on the directory, meaning each of us will get less referrals. So I wouldn't say that Alma is necessarily going to fill up your caseload on its own. It's not going to be the most robust place for referrals. That being said, it does offer the directory, which is nice. So with all that in mind, I think it's going to be a personal decision. Do I think Alma is worth it for a solo provider? Do I think that the cost is worth it? I certainly think it is because of all that you're going to get. Are there some cons? Yeah, absolutely. We just went through them as well. The thing is, you don't have to commit forever. So if you want to try it and then stop, you can. But if you're looking to get your feet wet in private practice, you're a little bit hesitant, you're not sure where to start, Alma makes some of the heavy lifting very, very easy and takes a lot of the administrative work off. So I would love to know, after watching this video, is Alma something you think you're going to try? Is it not? Are you against it? Let me know your thoughts. Again, I am making this simply as a piece of information for you to make the best decision possible. One of my intentions on this channel is to not gatekeep any information. I want people to just have all they need to make the decisions that are best for them and hopefully teach them and inspire them along the way. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I know it's not one of my most polished videos. I don't have time to edit everything, but I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something. At the very least, I hope you're more inspired now than when you first turned on the video, and I will see you in the next one.